V's Wild Art. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a wood burning of a turtle. We're going to be using the soldering iron kit from my first two videos. Links below. The first video shows you the tool and the safety that you need to be able to use the tool correctly. And the second one is showing you all the ins and outs, the techniques, the bits and bobs, all the things that you need to know. Alright guys, if you guys are going to use my lovely design and do it, make sure that you send me tweets. I want to see all of your awesome art. And I want to see if you're going to try and draw it, maybe try and draw my design. I feel like with pen or pencil you can get a little bit more detail in. Okay, one tip, soldering iron tutorial. Let's go. Hi, and welcome to V's Wild Art. So hopefully you have seen my two previous videos where I did a safety and tool reveal of this fantastic tool. You also would have seen my previous one which showed you all of the techniques that you need to learn and practice to make this tool work for this artwork. If you haven't, both of these would be linked below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this tool since, you know, I used it for the previous video. So we're going to do this entire artwork with this tool and one other, which is our little rounded tip, which I showed you before. I'm going to clean this, and by the magic of editing, it's going to be... Now that we've got this all sorted, our tool is clean, we need to figure out what we're going to put onto our wonderful piece of wood. I am going to teach you how to draw my design of a hatching baby turtle. I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible so that you guys can do it at home and you can follow along step by step. Now, I like to work in shapes. That's how I figure out what something's going to look like and how something is going to be drawn. So since we're going to do a hatching egg, and turtle eggs aren't round, so don't stress too much. We're going to start with a circle here. Then you're going to have to imagine that the shell is going to be in here somewhere. And we're going to have our lovely little turtle head pop out this way. He's also going to have his little arm folding out. So it's going to be a circle, or more like a oval for the head. Then he is going to have his little square chunky neck. So see, square. He's going to have his square chunky little foot pad. Well, this is more like a triangle. A triangle little foot pad that comes down to another triangle that attaches. And then it's a little triangle there. And his shell, which we're just gonna do as like a little, another shape, like almost a diamond, but doesn't quite add up. Okay, so these are the shapes we're gonna be working with. His little eye is another circle, even though it's gonna end up being this sort of shape. And he also has a little square nose, a little square. So this is how I'm gonna shape out the wood burning drawing. I figured I would break down the sketch for you so you could see the different lines. I'm just gonna whiz through doing this, but on the wood, so you can see how it goes. I don't use lead pencils on the wood because it's really hard to get them out. What I like to use instead is watercolor pencils on the wood. And I like to use colors, preferably an orange or a yellow or a brown. But since he's going to be blue, I can also use a baby blue watercolor pencil. Yeah. So it washes out quite simply. Trying to find one with with a piece of wood without a lot of grain is also very handy, and you just do a light sand on the wood before you start wood burning and start doing this. So I'm just going to whiz through what I just did, and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, now that I have my shapes down, what I'm going to do is refine my lovely little sketch. So for you guys, I'm actually gonna go in with a different colored marker so you can see what I'm gonna be doing and how it sort of lines up together. How these are gonna shape up together is you sort of join the lines. You can work from a reference photo if you like, but they end up having these little goopy little things. You want to go around this, and you also want to put a bubble on the other side. You're going to make the shape of the eye, and you're really just sort of looking for important lines. Ones that sort of, you want to get the darkest cut for the wood. Things that make sense. Now, you round out his little leg here. And then they have like little square feet that cup in like this, because they're just the cutest little things ever. And like this. We're also going to work on the egg, so the egg is going to be partially broken. So do like a little lip, because he's busting out. He's ready for his adventure on the beach. These are the turtles that migrate to Australia. So they have these little brackets that then match up like this. But they're all very two-toned. So you'll see those don't really matter too much. Gonna get our little lines coming around. Eyes are very important, but I'll show you how to do them properly in a little bit. And yeah, then you're also going to do patterning on the face. Do your own little adventure here. They don't really matter too much, like where they are. You just, wherever you feel they work. These things have some extra little lips down here. And like I said, the egg is actually not round. It's a soft shell egg. So you're gonna make it look like it's in the sand. And that is basically what we're gonna be wood burning. Just not a 5-minute sketch. All right, I'm gonna get it down here. Feel free to have a squiz, figure out what I'm doing, but see you on the other side. So I am just curving this up a little bit because his little head's sort of tucked up. You'll see the detail come out a little bit more, and you'll learn to figure out which lines work for your art style. Personally, my art style is very dramatic lines. I don't go in for a lot of detail, I just go in for the things I personally value in an artwork. Alright. So now that we have this little guy all sort of tucked in here, having a good old time. Oh god, he looks like a grumpy old man. I just want to emphasize that you don't actually have to focus a lot on what your original sketch is going to look like. I don't follow my lines a lot of the time.
they sort of get lost, and the one main reason I really love wood burning is that you can't tell the wood where it wants to burn. You can guide it, but a lot of the lines that I end up doing and loving are the ones that are complete mistakes. Would have never thought to put it there in a million years, but figuring out how to let go of the control is what makes the wood burning so wonderful. It's almost like meditation. You can keep tweaking, you can move some things. We're gonna have a little crack down our egg. Why not? Give it a go. Just give it a go. As a Bob Ross fan, it's our little world. This is our little guy. There are only happy little trees here. No mistakes, just happy accidents. Alright, so we are going to start wood burning. So I am going to open up a cross breeze because I have a parrot. We need to make sure our little chicken, yes, our little chicken is happy. While I'm doing that, I am going to turn on this soldering iron and let it get to temperature. Alright, so enjoy that fantastic audio. Enjoy the rumble of the fan. Hopefully this is better though than our previous video because my microphone got in. Now, this is heating up. Don't touch it. You can feel if it's warm enough. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm going to start with the egg and all of the big outlines. Then we'll work on our detail work. So here we go. Some of the best tips I can tell you is keep the cord to the outside of your arm so that you don't get tangled up. Also, don't be scared to move the artwork. A lot of people like to stay stagnant, but it's just not going to work with this. Don't be scared of the tool. Just get in there. Using the techniques that we used from the last video, the different parts of the tool does different things. So just experiment with the way that you want to move it. See if you can make a really beautiful straight line. It's very satisfying when you do. It's all in the wrist. Now for the face and this part of the arm, it's going to take a lot more detail than these big cutting lines. So let's try and work on this little bit of the arm before we tackle the face. So the arm, you got to remember that they're sort of scaly, these little guys. So it's more about little flicky movements than anything else. Fair bit of shading, that sort of idea. You want to get a lot of texture in here. Because they're little wrinkly old men, these little guys, aren't they? Little wrinkly old fellas. Also, another big key point is to figure out your light source. I already figured out mine is going to be coming down top heavy, so work out where yours is going to be. I figured it out by the eye, just so you know. Forgot to tell you. When you're designing something like this, figure out where your light is going to be. I'm just going to skim through and put some detail lines through this little guy's arms. And how I'm going to be doing that is I'm actually just going to hold the tool where I want it to be, and I'm sort of just doing some little jumpy motions. So the tool isn't actually touching the wood as often as you would think. Alright, so now that we've got this sorted, we do need to do his little neck wrinkles. So you just sort of figure out where the folds are, or use a reference photo for like a total head you like. That's all I'm doing is fine. I found a head that I thought was really cute, and we're just making him into an adorable little turtle face. Let me get this strong line coming on. So the key to wood burning the way that I do, is that less is more. Less is always more. So when you know you've got a round eye like this, always go from the first point, because you can always add on, but it's very difficult to take away. So go from either end and then work in. Work from where you think it's gonna be. Because like we all know, I barely ever follow my own lines. Once you start burning, you really sort of see where things should be, I guess. This probably makes no sense. But just sit back and watch how I do it, and hopefully that helps. Doing our little roundies to make our little eye. Gonna make it nice and flat and deep. Okay. You're gonna get some of these little shapes going in, same as before, and same as how we're gonna do on the back of the neck and the shell. But this particular breed of turtle has patches on its cheek, so have some fun doing those, because they're always good fun. pushing it down, creating the shape. It's really nice that the soldering iron tool is the right sort of shape already. I recommend doing a harsh line and then fading it out on a different side. That's how I get my shapes. And always follow the contour of the eye. So I'm gonna do a little bit of shading now. And we're also gonna do a little bit of stippling. So they have like little wrinkles around their eyes, which kind of just look like little circles. So anyway, you see any little areas that might need a little bit more detail, touch in, figure them out. And then it's shading pretty much. So doing your little roundies, go over any way you think the light would make places ridge up, the light would make places ridge down, and just give it a little bend. A little bit of a something, you know? Let's get this little shape going on. These are some more of those little dark lines. The whole shell is basically just one big shaded spot. So do your dark lines and then shade it in. Knowing that the center is always going to be higher, so try and do this sort of little shape in the middle. It's what I find looks most effective. Shade the edges and the center. So now the turtle is pretty much done. This is pretty much as far as you can get detail-wise that I've figured out with just the soldering iron. Now, the entire time I have done this piece so far, I've only used this one tip. So when I said try and use one tip to the best of your ability, it really is valuable. I was able to do this entire thing just by knowing how to turn my hand at the right time. So now we're just going to throw in some shadows. So like we said, do some more stippling, because the little turtle leg's probably in some sand. So I'm going to get rid of all of this watercolor pencil and any excess lines, any excess carbon. And this will show you a lot of the deep cuts as well, which is really cool. Now, we can leave this here because it is a lovely wood burning. Or you can take it one step further, which is colouring the wood burning. I use different stains for different things and figure out different ways of doing things so that when it's finished and you lacquer it, everything will be shiny. Next week I'll show you guys how to stain this wood burning so that it comes out just like the jellyfish, all beautiful and colourful and just a rounded piece of art. I hope that if you pick up a soldering iron yourself, that you tweet me some of your beautiful creations. Let me know if you try and draw this or if you try and do a wood burning with this. We'd love to see your recreations. And yes, thanks for watching. Subscribe and I will see you next week.